The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. Here are Mauricio Garcia and Hubert Humphrey.
I hope you're having a phenomenal day. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Conquistador Podcast. My name is Mauricio Garcia. And yesterday we were talking about how to subliminally structure, or better well said, how to structure a presentation that has all the elements to be able to convert, to get the feelings of people moving. And we had a great explanation of that from the architect of the greatest system ever built, specifically for the, maybe I shouldn't just say the financial industry. It's been where this system's been applied and built multi-billion-dollar market cap companies, but it can really be used in any industry, as he said before. So today we'll talk about what is the role of a presenter, because I think it goes right in line with what we covered yesterday. But let me bring in my mentor, my partner, the Hall of Fame entrepreneur, Hubert Humphrey. Hubert, how are you today, sir? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, feeling wonderful. It's hard to feel anything but special when you're here in front of a camera talking to wonderful people out there. It just you got to feel great. Being a part of a great in a great country with a great opportunity and great people like yourself to work with. Hey,
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, especially now, right? Everybody is really going out there trying to make their life happen, trying to conquer their future, like you say. And they, more than ever, people need this kind of stuff that we're sharing here. So obviously, presenting is something we have to do. Learning how to sell and how to be able to transfer this vision, these things in our minds into other people's minds. I think that's the role of a presenter. But let's dive deeper into it, because you have a special perspective on this thing, especially when you're presenting for a business. If you heard yesterday's podcast, we were talking about how do you do a presentation to recruit somebody, and now let's talk about what is the role of the presenter to be successful when doing this.
Well, the role of, first of all, anybody that joins our business or gets into our business, it can be a presenter. I mean, the newest person could technically be a presenter. It takes no license to be a presenter. There's no presenter license or exam or commit. It just does not take a license to sell a dream. There's no dream commissioner, no dream exam. But you do. But when you're trying to have a controlled meeting and you're trying to give other people on your team or bringing people to that webinar or that bot presentation live, you want to make sure you got someone that can give the best presentation forward. So
I was going to say, and I hate to interrupt, but it's just that to me, I want to give this testimony, is that to me, probably one of the hardest things that I had to do in my life was to be a presenter. And I know I'm not alone on this thing. Many of the people listening right now probably have never been, in front of a crowd. And I don't know who it was. I think it was one of the largest insurance companies in Germany did a study, many years ago. I remember what was the people's biggest fear, right? And they were trying to figure out what was people's biggest fears aside from dying. And I think the second place or something like that was public speaking. And I know that may not be exactly what you're maybe talking about, but maybe there's a few people jumping to the conclusion, that when you say you actually didn't say it's easy to be a presenter, but anybody can be a presenter. I'm just saying, to me, it was one of the hardest things in life. I don't know how today I'm able to get up there and speak in front of clients. So there is hope, guys. You can actually, be like I am, which I couldn't speak in front of a single person, and now I'm okay getting on stage. So there is hope, and you can do it.
Well, there's hope. The first little warning I want to give people is jumping to conclusions prematurely is one of the most dangerous things a person can do in their life. More dreams, more lives have been affected negatively because of the human tendency to jump to a premature conclusion, and 99.999% of the time it's the wrong conclusion. So that we have got to help people to don't do that, and we just can't jump to conclusions. When we jump to a conclusion, we're shutting out all possibilities. We're probably missing the chance of a lifetime. You never know, and we can't do that. So anyway, that.
Well, thanks for making us aware of that, because sometimes we don't know, right, that we're doing that. But now that we're aware of it, we can catch it more.
First question you got to say: Am I a human being? Yes, I think I am. Okay, we got that straight. You are a human being, and if you are a human being, one of your number one tendencies, including me, until it's controlled or modified, we jump to conclusions. That is our defense mechanism. It's the way we are, and so we have to overcome that. So I'm just giving that little word of warning there. But the role of a presenter is when I'm kind of speaking now as if you're already in our business and you're trying to run a successful base shop or R&D factory where you're building leaders and you're trying to recruit large numbers of people and have them assimilated into your business. When you got a week, you got scheduled BOPs or business opportunity presentations once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, webinars, whatever they are. You want to get someone, if you can, that knows human nature, that knows how to give these subliminal messages, knows how to simplify it, and have a conversation with people, and give all of you the best chance to have these people respond positively to the message, and attracts them in and gets them through the conversion process as quickly as possible. So you want to try to get the best you can, and sometimes it's not the fanciest, sometimes it's not the most experienced. It's the one that can do these little subliminal things we've been talking about the best. And so anyway, that's the key. Now, as you're starting out, you say, well, gee, I don't have any of those. Well, great. It's you. It's like Mauricio just said. You can do it. You know, if, in this day and age, all you got to do is contact me or somebody in the business, and we'll have somebody in your upline or something that can come in there and do the presentation for you electronically if they have to. And we have so many powerful ways of doing that today that we didn't have back in the day. So nothing should stop you from running good meetings and having access to somebody that can help you pull the people in and get your momentum going. But somewhere, somehow, at some point in time, you're going to realize, hey, I'm good enough to do this. I've got a dream. First of all, I'm a human being. I'm excited. I want more. I have a dream. I believe in what we're doing. That means that you automatically are an outstanding, qualified presenter. That's all the criteria. All the criteria you need to have. Now, and of course, there's several other little parts about it. Is that if you're doing meetings in your office, in your base shop, or webinars with your team, there needs to be some continuity to it. It needs to be. It shouldn't be a practice place where you just every week or every meeting you're throwing some little rookie up there, trying to just give him a training. You do your drill for skills offline, out of sight, but keep some regular something to it where we say, man, I'm going to have a bunch of people at the meeting tomorrow night because I can count on Mauricio's going to be running that meeting, that BOP tomorrow night, that webinar. He's going to be on there. I'm going to have some people on there because you know the consistency of the message you're going to get. You know that it converted you, it converted these other people. It's very predictable what's going to happen with this guy. So give people that sense of predictability and continuity, if you will, on that.
I want to add one thing here, which is why I love being involved in Hegemon Group International, is that you can leverage the experience of other people. I can tell you that when I first started, I had nobody to really leverage. Like, I had to go on stage and try to do my presentation to people because I was doing this business kind of by myself. I was just trying to follow some of the other successful traditional career financial pros out
You're,
there.
you're talking about before you got in HGI.
Before I got in HGI. So
okay.
joining HGI is where you actually are able to leverage other people's expertise, all the way from you to the leaders, right? You learn from them as you're doing them. So that, I don't know how that came across wrong, but you want to be in HGI to be able to learn faster and leveraging other people's experience. I just wanted to point that out because it's so important. And I say it because I've lost so much opportunity by not being able to leverage somebody else's story. So,
Well, I'm the same way. Long before I got found A.L. Williams or back in the beginning and got going and learning that sort of stuff, I was trying all kind of other little things out there, and there's nobody there to help me in these other things, and I never got any traction in it, and I never could. I had not learned a lot of these little things we're talking about here yet.
Right.
And so it just one of the great values of being in a business like ours is the tremendous wealth of knowledge that comes from an upline of people, a sponsorship line of people up there who have vestige. They have financial interest in you. In other words, if they want you to succeed because they are going to prosper as you prosper in our override system, and so they I love knowing that somebody is financially hooked. Their future is hooked to my future. That means I'm not just by myself. I like that, and the same thing in opportunities. When you come into our business, there's going to be some people in the business that know how to present while you're learning that. And all you got to do is get your prospects, and they'll even help you get your prospects in front of these people. And they'll help do the persuading. And then behind the scenes, ultimately, though, it's going to come down to your relationship. I've had people bring people to a meeting that I was doing. And they listened and they felt good and I knew enough about how to do a good meeting. It was positive and they liked it and they were persuaded. But then they would get off to the side and they would get with little Johnny lunch bucket there, the guy that invited them, their friend, not the Hubert Humphrey, not the guy that was running the meeting. When it's all said and done, they ask him, "Are you doing this, Johnny? Is this something you're going to do? Or how long have you been doing it, Johnny? Is it working for you, Johnny? You believe in this, Johnny?" Now, they heard all this sophisticated presentation that we were doing, but they still asked the little guy that was their friend, that was their contact, that was their acquaintance. Just remember, the presenter can be somebody else that's doing the presenting of the bop, but ultimately the real presenter is the excitement that you've got. It's what people are
They're
going
looking for
know.
Validation, right?
That's right.
Like, I'm a good validation. I'm going to the person that invited me to this whole thing to begin with. Yeah.
Now, conversely, if you're not giving off good vibes and you don't really quite understand and believe, I've seen people come to meetings and get all excited, and they saw something that their invitor had never even seen. And the invitor was just testing the water and invited somebody, and lo and behold, this person really saw it, and it wakes up the invitor. My gosh, this really is something big, and man, this guy's excited. I better look deeper. So I've seen it work in reverse. So whatever it is, it just needs to be somebody needs to be out there doing persuasive things to people. They need to. It's just like anything else. You don't need to have your mind filled with a bunch of negatives before you're going to talk to someone, before you're going to make a presentation one-on-one or in a group, or if you were going to try to contact somebody. Even if, for example, if I was to come on a show here and talk to someone here, like right in front of this camera or this microphone, I don't need to have my mind filled with a bunch of mess before I walk in here and sit down and start talking. Now, sometimes it happens, and I think I'm sophisticated enough and experienced enough that I can overcome it because I can get focused quickly, and I stay focused. But the average person, try to keep yourself with your mind with good thoughts, and then as you ease right on into your presentation, the odds are in your favor. You're going to do a better job, and And behind the scenes, one of the things that leaders need to be doing with their new people is to have these little sessions once a week or whatever, once or twice a month, where they're doing training, drill for skills. One of the skills is to do a little role play. Like if Mauricio has never done anything like this, I would take Mauricio and we'd go over and I'd have him get out of his comfort zone. I'd have him fight through his inhibitions and make a little presentation to me. So get these. Here's 3 or 4 points, Mauricio. Get these 3 or 4 points over to me where I don't just hear them, but I feel them. I feel them inside of me. When he's going to sit there and be all nervous and he's going to screw it up and he's going to screw it up and we're going to stop. But by the time he does it 3 or 4 or 5 times, I would have forced him to emote. I would have forced him to say it in a comfortable conversation. And by the time we've done it 3 or 4 or 5 times, I'm not talking about hours and hours. I'm talking about 2 or 3 minutes here, 2 or 3 minutes here. And do that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times in 15 to 20 minutes, Mauricio's going to feel like, oh, gee, I can do it now. I see it. I've just peeled back the layers of the layers of the onion very quickly to where a little guy that never done it before feels like he can do it because he just did it on the side over here in this little drill for skill that we were doing. So I would recommend the number one job skill that we want to have people learn how to do in our business is selling the dream. Mauricio, you've been around long enough with me and to watch everything for years. Of all the skills that we want to teach somebody is how to persuade people and leaders to keep persuading people to build big teams. That's
director of motivation.
That's it. That is the number one skill set that we want them to have.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would also say if there's one thing that you want to practice and get good at and dedicate time is being able to present. Because I can give you a testimony is that's been the one thing that's gotten me the most results of anything. Because you can compress a lot of time when you have the undivided attention of 50 people to 60 people instead of going one by one. Like when
Absolutely.
You can do that in a group setting, it's like you could do in one day what other people take a whole month to do, and that's very powerful. So going back to compressing, time, collapsing
right.
time frames, compressing activity.
Absolutely. And one other thing that has to be done in a one-on-one presentation or by a greenie talking to his friend or somebody, a nice good presenter in a controlled meeting, is that there's got to have a little bit of a closer's mentality there. Somebody has got to have a call for action. Something. You can't just talk to them, and they don't really know what. People can be enticed. They can hear stuff. They can hear what you're saying, but they really still need somebody to tell them what it is. What am I supposed to do? Well, what you're supposed to do is, hey, stay after this meeting. When we get through this presentation, we're going to show you how to get started. Just that simple thing. Okay, I can stay after the meeting. He's going to show me how to get started. Or something. It's got to be some. Yeah,
fill out this form, give it to some person.
Yeah, some call to action, next step, and then a next step. Somebody's got to be able to have that closer. I don't mean you go for the hard kill, but there's got to be something that causes the person to, now that they got all these feelings going, it's got to funnel them over into the getting started process.
Yep. What's the next step, right? What's the next step? Awesome show, Hubert. I think we'll wrap it up for today. That was kind of the role of the presenter. I think it was very well put today. It goes really, this is, if you can fuse this show today with what we did yesterday, I think you'll get the whole picture of this thing. So I want to invite you to do that. And as always, if you are listening to this podcast on any of the podcast platforms, please don't forget to share. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe if you haven't done it yet, and obviously also share so that the algorithm can reward us here and get this content to the people that need it out there, which are those driven, determined dreamers that are trying to make their lives happen. With that being said, I want to invite you to go to heiopportunity.com. Why? Because that's where you'll find the information about the greatest opportunity in America today, an opportunity in the financial industry, utilizing the system that we so much talk about on this show, makes it the perfect combination to build what we call the greatest opportunity ever existed. And it's supercharged today with everything that is happening. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. If it's ever been, Hubert's been doing this for 30, 40 years, and this is the best time than ever. And you don't just say that. I mean, is there some reasons you want to let the audience know why as good as the opportunity has been over the last 40 years, why would you say is the best time today, just to wrap up today? If somebody's still on the sidelines, haven't still gone over that.
Well, first of all, now is always the best time to do anything. Now, the NOW, because that's all you've got. And people, if people are going to do something, they do it now. But far as the conditions, one, we've never had the demographics so overwhelming. We've never had the market conditions so overwhelming. People right now, the tougher the times, the better it is for us. Even like right now, all of a sudden these politicians now can't get their message straight. We just went through the pandemic. Everybody thought we were coming out of it. And what are they over there? What are they doing now in Washington? They're sending out and not just Washington, but all these different states and cities, and these politicians are scaring people and making them think they're fixed to be back in masks, and we're fixing to have the whole pandemic. It's going to be pandemic 2. That scares people in their normal businesses. It makes them, and when they realize that here's a business that's pandemic proof, it's Washington messy politics proof. It's economic meltdown proof. It's the right time of all the conditions. In fact, A.L. Williams was built and WMA was built in periods of the high misery index.
That's the word. I was looking for. My brain was going through the misery index.
The higher the misery index, the more people are worried and looking for solutions and looking for hope, and that's what we've delivered. Without that, there would never have been an A.L. Williams. There never would have been a WMA. We wouldn't be sitting here today if everything had been smooth sailing. So, but guys, I can tell you right now, this is the greatest market conditions we've ever seen. When the pandemic started last year, and everybody was forced to go home, businesses shut down, locked down, and all this kind of stuff, we ended up recruiting, tripled our recruiting. We quadrupled our sales, our production. Our guys made more money in 2020 than they did ever done before, and they learned how to use Zooms and use technology to see the people and visit the people that they couldn't do it online. I mean, it's easy to find your prospects because they were all at home. Mm-hmm. They were easy, and that's still the case to a large degree. And it sounds like it's going to that feeling's going to be with us for a long time. I hate it. I hate it from a medical standpoint, but all we can do is react to the windows that open for us, and they're there. This is the time. First of all, we got all the technology. We got all this monstrous. We're still right in the middle of this long 10, 15 year wealth wave of wealth transference. And guys, money's moving, fortunes are made, technology is set up perfect for us. We got all this experience now, and now is the best time of your life. Let's go do it. And those of you that might have seen us before, heard about us before, tried us before in some other of our business ventures, it's like the old Ford commercial back from many years ago when they were selling the Taurus. Have you driven a Ford lately? Well, have you seen Hubert's business lately? Have you seen HGI lately? We welcome old people and the new people to take a look at what we're doing.
Very well said, Hubert. So go to hgiopportunity.com, watch the presentation, schedule an interview, get involved, take advantage of this window of opportunity. You'll be very glad that you did. With that being said, I wish that you guys have a terrific rest of your day. Hubert, I will see you tomorrow.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Warning, this podcast may change the way you think about business, entrepreneurship, and money forever. The Conquistador Podcast was created for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who want to conquer their future. To be an epic entrepreneur, you must adopt the right mental paradigms as well as master the art of selling, marketing, and finance.